I have Royal Rhythm Recording Arts, the Crowe Brothers. Welcome to Sudzin Country.
Well, we're glad y'all asked us to come and be on.
And Wayne.
Right.
There you go. What instrument do you play, John?
I play guitar.
Bass.
You play that big guy, huh?
The big guy.
There you go. Let's talk about what's going on right now. It's called Brothers in Harmony. The lifetime of touring. Is that what it represents, a lifetime of touring?
Well, it does that, yeah, and it may even represent, you know, of Wayne here taking just a little bit of leave of absence from the road, but that, I think everybody in this business does that at
or leave of absence, period.
Yeah, well, the road.
Could be.
Of course, he stayed in the music business, you know, in theaters and what have you. But Brothers in Harmony was kind of come full circle, and we think good timing for it, because we've had probably the most successful record we've had since we were. We done an album back in the '80s called "The Winds Are Blowing in Maggie Valley." So,
yeah, I remember that album. Now this one, did it go #1?
It did. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And speaking of #1, this Brothers in Harmony you're talking about is our first #1 since then. We've got a song on there called Cindy Mae that's been the longest running #1 song on Sirius XM this year.
Get out.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure has.
Wow.
Yeah.
Broke a record.
What?
Broke a record.
Broke a record. No pun intended. Broke a record.
Yeah.
No pun intended. There you go. I remember the old days where you know, the old 78s. Remember them?
I've done a few of them too.
Broke a record. But this is congratulations.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Congratulations. You guys been on the road 40 years, 30?
35 years.
35 years, yeah.
Yeah, that goes way back. What kind of songs are on this Brothers in Harmony? How did you come up with the title? And
well, actually, our record company decided on that title. They liked that, and you know they're kind of looking at the Crowe Brothers as the bridge or the gap from the era of the Louvens, the Wilburn Brothers, the Osborne Brothers, Jim and Jesse. You know, we came after those guys, but we were still in that era of where we worked with every one of them at some point in time. You know, and we're the kind of the last of the Mohicans, I guess, carrying on this that style of duet.
Keeping the tradition alive is the word?
I'd say you're right, yeah.
Stanley Brothers, the Louvin Brothers, the Wilburn Brothers.
That's right, yeah. And I don't know that we planned it that way. It's just that's what happens when you got your brothers. And the duet thing has always been a big thing in bluegrass and country music.
Right.
You know, and you know that. You've been around this business long enough.
I've been around almost as long as you have.
Yeah.
Not quite, but you know, a lot of harmonies. And somehow, when you're related, the harmonies sound better than if you were just friends.
Well,
I don't know what it is, the blood relatives, the blood harmonies, or somebody once said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a true statement.
Yeah, you have the vocals
The
and all that,
sibling
of course.
thing.
You know,
Sibling
you have
thing.
some similarities.
You know, you get the because I worked you know with David McLaughlin, you know, from the Johnson Mountain Boys, and we did what my opinion one of the best projects I've ever done in the music business. You know, and we'd done the brother style thing, and David and I sung great harmony, but there's still a difference in than doing it with your brother, because you know we were raised up together. If you say there the same way, you know what I'm saying, he's going to say it that way.
You're right.
And when you're singing, it comes off that way.
There's no language barriers.
Yeah.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Do you get into that high lonesome sound? Touch it.
We've always been, you know, you take the Stanley Brothers for instance. Their style of music, great. You know, it'll never be equaled in my notion. But Wayne and I, and this album kind of represents it a little bit, that that our style of music's not just bluegrass, but we're also that traditional country. You know, like you heard on the Grand Ole Opry and the.
What's that say? Bluegrass and traditional country.
Yeah, and
you got it.
that's kind of the way they've, you know, they've.
Sticking to your roots.
Yeah, I guess that's it. We've always been kind of that that kind of singers. You know, the kind of the country bluegrass traditional style.
Who were your guests on that album? You had some guests.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Randy Coors, you know, who is nominated for 2009 IBMA Dobro Player of the Year. He was on there and played Dobro, and on one of these country cuts actually did a version of the old lap steel, like he used to hear, you know, done on the Grand Ole Opry years ago. He done a version of that with us on an old Wilburn Brothers song. And then, of course, we've got Buck White from the Whites playing. He played piano on a song that I wrote that I kind of put a what would you say, the Western swing
feel
type thing in it, you know, and Buck was on there, and then of course, Steve Thomas, a fiddle player here in Nashville, is also a producer in a studio. We got his own studio, and he helped produce this thing. And Ronnie McCurry played mandolin on the cut on there with us.
Ronnie.
And
you got all top people helping you out.
well, they guested on a couple, like a song here and a song there. But our core band, of course, the boy that's working with us playing banjo, we'll do a tune here in a few minutes that'll feature the banjo player that's doing most of the banjo picking on there. But we also had we done a Don Reno song on this record, and
Don Wayne.
we got Don Wayne to come in and play banjo on that.
Pick a guess, I'll tell you that. You guys ain't shying down here on guess, I'm telling you.
He actually played the five-string banjo. He played on this one cut, Better Luck Next Time, on this record. It's the original five-string banjo that cut the Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Off with the same instrument?
Yeah, that's the one that Earl Scruggs used to own. Then he traded it to Don, Don Wayne's dad, Don Reno. And of course, when Don passed away, it was passed on down to Don Wayne. So he recorded that with that banjo on this record. Yeah, pretty neat.
If that instrument can talk.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh. How many times that instrument played the songs for you?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Hey, you recorded 4 albums, 4 CDs as the Crowe Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done 3. Well, we've done more records than that. We've done the first 2 albums that the Crowe Brothers ever recorded was produced by Skyline Records in Asheville, North Carolina, and our old buddy Mark Pruitt from the band Balsam Range was at that point in time had his own band called the Mark Pruitt Band, but he also was a record producer, and he produced the first 2 albums on us. And then we went on to record 3 other albums with Adaram Records.
Okay.
And which 2 different record companies own those now. I actually own the masters and the rights to it. Copper Creek Record owns the first 2, and then Gusto Records, your Starday King.
Yeah, I remember those
They've
days.
got the original on the originals of the Maggie Valley album and all that, which is out on Starday Gusto and.
It was a good label in their day.
Yeah.
They did a lot.
It was a big label.
Big label.
They were the major. Starday and the King was the major labels here in Nashville.
Those days. I remember those days.
Yeah.
You guys played the Opry?
Oh yeah.
Played
Had
to be part of the
played them many a time. Yeah. And we started in the era. In what 78 I guess it was.
78.
Raymond. We come here. For about the first 2 years, we played instrumentals back in Raymond, and then we were at the Grand Ole Opry one night, and Roy Acuff heard us sing the old song, Where the Old Red River Flows. And he said, I want you boys to do that on Grand Ole Opry tonight. So from there on out, we got to sing a song on Opry every time we come,
Wow, that was good.
Yeah.
Of all the songs you guys played and recorded, which is the most popular at a show when you play out on the stage? Which is the most popular request song?
Most recognized, and right now, is that Winds Are Blowing in Maggie Valley.
Right.
And we just re-recorded that with our new band, done a new studio version of it for Rural Rhythm to re-release because of the, like XM radio these days, all the computer world, iTunes and all that kind of stuff. So it presents it to a whole different audience that didn't get to hear it back then will get to hear it again,
Great music, but it's always great music. Regardless how many years went by, it's still a great song. It's always a great song.
Well, yeah, it seems to be that way. It kind of becomes your trademark,
There you go.
That's what everybody remembers you by.
We need a website where everybody can go and see you guys.
CroweBrothers.com. You can go to that and pull up our, find out where we're going to be touring, what shows we're doing.
How many nights a year you go out?
Well, we hadn't been doing that many till this year, but it's starting. Man, it's starting to climb now. We're with Class Act Entertainment here in Nashville. Mike Drudge and Chris Joslin, and with IBMA and everything that's happened. This new record is, from Rural Rhythm is a big part of, and it's the first record the Crowe Brothers has done. 15 plus years, and so. We're going to be back out there.
Good luck with everything. Good luck with your new album. Good luck in the future.